Welcome to When Zip Code Doesn't Matter, a discussion of the impact of residential segregation today and the connections with access to home ownership and public safety. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes introducing ourselves and orienting you to the space we'll be sharing for the next 90 minutes.
Hello, I'm Katie McKenna. I'm a director of the Denver market of Enterprise Community Partners. And I'm here today because I see firsthand the impact of residential segregation here in my own neighborhood in Denver, but also throughout the state and the country. And I know that discussions like this are one of the steps that we need to take to bring about the change that needs to happen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jonathan Capelli. I'm the Executive Director of the Neighborhood Development Collaborative, which is a coalition of 18 nonprofit housing organizations working across Metro Denver. And I, too, am ready for a change. My family grew up in a redlined neighborhood in North Philadelphia, and they became homeowners only when my great-grandmother's boss, who she worked for as a maid, decided to give her a loan. So access to capital and affordable housing has always had really deep ties to racial justice. But the events of last summer in particular really spurred me to collaborate with Katie and Maria on this program and the creation of these modules to bring this message to a wider audience.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Sepulveda. I'm the Vice President of Community and Government Partnerships for Habitat for Humanity of Metro Denver. And I come to this work because I truly believe racial segregation is killing us. It's depriving Black and brown people of color from the health, jobs, wealth, education, and most certainly the justice we all deserve in this country. I'm moved by the moral imperative to end racial segregation. And I believe if you are not moved by morality, you should be moved by the fact that the future of the US economy depends on ending it. So I'm looking forward to learning with you why racial segregation still exists in our country and the tools we have right now to end it.
I'm always appreciative of the wisdom of James Baldwin. And as we were creating When Zip Code Doesn't Matter, we came back to this quote a lot because we truly believe that nothing can be changed until it's faced. But that said, we know that it's not easy. Some people here today experience systemic racism on a daily basis. And as Jonathan, Maria, and I are talking about segregation, homeownership disparity, and racism in the criminal justice system, personal stories and experiences may come to mind, and that can be really painful. If you're white, you've witnessed overt and systemic racism, and you've also benefited from it. You may too have friends and family members who have been harmed, but as a white person, your experience is different. As you click through the modules, make sure to take care of yourself. Here are some tips.
As Katie mentioned, we know this conversation is likely to bring up traumatic experiences and painful feelings for all of us. So I'd like to share some of our favorite tactics for coping. Since we all will experience this discussion differently, please feel free to use any of these strategies on your own at any time. When we experience trauma and stress, we have a physical reaction. It can be helpful to move your body to counteract stress. You can do this by moving around, standing if you can, stretching, reaching for the sky, and bending at the waist to touch the floor. Some people like to shrug their shoulders or shake out each limb one at a time. Another strategy for coping with trauma is to breathe deeply. If you're feeling intense emotions, it can help to take a moment to be conscious of your breathing. Slow your breath, breathe in for a slow count to 5 and out for a slow count to 5. Do this at least 3 times and as many times as you need. And some people even like to close their eyes or look away from the screen for a moment, for a break. You can also express your feelings verbally or in writing. You can do this by writing your emotion down on a piece of paper beside you or doodling. For some people, it can be helpful to enunciate your reactions. And we welcome you to take these actions, to use your voice to help release some of those feelings.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Bank of America. Bank of America recognizes that people in communities of color continue to face significant challenges, and are working to advance racial equity and economic opportunity throughout many of their partnerships, including this one. To drive progress, the bank has committed to invest $1.25 billion over the next 5 years to advance racial equality and economic opportunity, building on work that they've had underway for many years. We're appreciative of both their commitment to advancing racial equity and for their sponsorship of When Zip Code Doesn't Matter.
In the paper, Race and Economic Opportunity in the United States, Dr. Raj Chetty shows that a person's zip code and their race are the two biggest indicators of their socioeconomic success. So in this program, we're going to learn more about why that is and work together to conceive of a path forward to a time when zip code doesn't matter anymore. So to join us on this journey, feel free to click through any of the modules on the site. In modules 2 and 3, we're going to spend some time looking at residential segregation and how it shows up today. So you all walk away from that module knowing just how diverse or segregated your community actually is. And then we'll discuss why the maps look the way they do and what we can do about it. In module 4, we'll explore the links between wealth, homeownership, and race, and discuss why it's so important to close the racial wealth gap in our country. And then lastly, in module 5, we'll loop this all in with criminal justice. We'll start with housing and civil rights, and then move into the economics of the criminal justice system to discuss some solutions to the problems that plague it today. In theory, each module stands alone, but it may be helpful to watch them in order. With that, we'll leave you to click through the modules on the site. And at the end of each module will be our contact information. So if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out.